Have you ever met someone who felt like destiny? Someone who looked at you with those wide, innocent eyes and made you feel like you were the only person in the universe? You think you've finally found it, the connection everyone writes songs about. You think the search is finally over. But what if I told you that while you were falling in love, they were just passing time? What if I told you that you were never the destination, but just a pit stop on their way to someone else? This is the story of how I let a woman destroy my trust, shatter my heart, and drag me through the mud. But before we get to the end, you need to understand where it all began. Because while she was playing games with my heart, the universe was busy playing chess. And the checkmate, it's sweeter than you could ever imagine. If you've ever been used, lied to, or treated like an option while you made someone a priority, then you know exactly how this feels. It started a little over a year ago. I was 24, she was 25. We matched online, and honestly, in today's dating world, you expect dry texts and ghosting. But with her, it was electric from the jump. We weren't just texting, we were sending novels back and forth. We hopped on video calls that lasted until 3:00 a.m., talking about our childhoods, our fears, and everything in between. She seemed genuinely fascinated by me. Every joke I made, she laughed. Every story I told, she listened like it was the most important thing she'd ever heard. For a solid month, we built this digital intimacy that felt stronger than most real-life relationships I'd ever had. My guard was down, completely. Then came the day we finally met in person. The chemistry was undeniable, but looking back now, I realize I missed the biggest red flag of my life because I was too busy staring at her smile. We were hanging out, enjoying the moment, when she dropped a casual bomb on me. She told me she had just gotten out of a long-term relationship only a few months prior. Then she laughed this cold, light-hearted little laugh and said, "Yeah, I'm kind of in my rebound phase right now." Now, stop for a second. Most guys would have heard those words and ran for the hills. But me, I'm the non-judgmental guy. I'm the guy who believes everyone has a story and a struggle. I told myself that she was just being honest, and that if I stayed consistent and treated her right, I could be the one to show her what a real, healthy connection looked like. I thought I could be the exception to her rebound rule. We progressed into what I thought was a relationship. We were doing couple things, spending real time together, and I was investing my heart, my energy, and my future into her. But then, the shift started. You know that gut feeling you get when the vibe changes, that cold shiver when you realize you're being lied to? She started guarding her phone like it held state secrets. She'd take hours to reply to a message that used to take seconds. When I asked what she did over the weekend, her answers became vague and blurry. I'm not a jealous man, but I'm not a fool. I started paying attention, and the truth I uncovered crushed me into pieces. She wasn't just healing from her ex. She wasn't just taking things slow, she was running a full roster of men. She was talking to multiple guys, hanging out with them behind my back, and using me as the safe, emotional anchor while she went out and had her fun with everyone else. I was just a number. I was the guy she came to when she wanted to feel seen, and I was the guy she forgot the second someone more exciting called her phone. The realization hit me like a freight train. I couldn't control her actions, and I couldn't force her to respect me. I realized that staying would mean sacrificing every ounce of my self-respect. So I did the hardest thing a man in love can do. I didn't scream. I didn't beg for an explanation. I didn't even give her the satisfaction of a fight. I went ghost. I cut the cord and walked away into the shadows to protect whatever was left of my soul. But here is the detail you need to remember, the one thing she told me during those late-night calls when she was still pretending to care. She told me about her ultimate dream. She and her ex-boyfriend had spent years obsessed with the idea of moving to Wyoming. She wanted to live near the mountains, near Yellowstone, in a place where the air was cold and the scenery was perfect. That was her happily ever after. I filed that away in the back of my mind, thinking it was a dream I'd never be a part of. I was heartbroken, feeling used and discarded like a piece of trash. But I took that pain and turned it into a different kind of energy. I went into total monk mode. I worked until my hands bled, I studied until my eyes burned, and I built a version of myself that didn't need her. I thought that was the end of our story. I thought I had escaped the trap, but 3 months later, my phone lit up with a notification that changed everything. She was coming back, and she had no idea that she was walking right into a trap that fate had set just for her. 3 months. That's how long it took for the wound to start scabbing over. I had spent every single waking hour of those 90 days pouring my pain into productivity. I wasn't just working, I was obsessed. I was in the gym at 5:00 a.m., I was at my desk until midnight, and I was winning. I won state awards for my job, I finally graduated, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I was becoming the man I was always supposed to be. I had deleted her number. I had cleared the photos, I had convinced myself that she was a ghost from a past life, but then the vibration happened. You know that specific buzz your phone makes that somehow feels heavier than the others? I looked down and there it was, her name. After 3 months of silence, after the lies, after the rebound games, she was back. She didn't just send a hey, she sent the masterpiece. A long, emotional paragraph about how much she had grown, how much she regretted the way things ended, and how she had finally changed. She claimed she had done the soul-searching. She had cleared out the other guys, and she realized that I was the only one who actually treated her with respect. And I'm going to be honest with you, when you've been at your lowest and the person who put you there comes back crawling, a part of you feels a massive rush of ego. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe that the girl I fell for in those 3:00 a.m. video calls was finally real. So I did what a lot of us do when we're blinded by hope. I gave her a second chance. I let the wolf back into the sheepfold. At first, it was like a movie. We started hanging out again, and she seemed like a completely different person. She was attentive. She was communicative. She was present. It felt like the redemption arc I had been praying for. But while I was letting her back into my heart, I was also finishing up my final career moves. I was looking for a way out of my hometown, a way to start my life as a professional, and that's when the universe stepped in with a plot twist so perfect it felt scripted. I found a job opportunity. Not just any job, a career-defining role, and the location, Wyoming, right on the doorstep of Yellowstone National Park. The exact place she had described to me as her heaven on earth. The place she and her ex had spent years dreaming about but could never reach. I decided to tell her. I wanted to see her reaction. When I mentioned the move to Wyoming, I watched her entire demeanor change. Suddenly, her eyes lit up with a hunger I hadn't seen before. Her attention toward me became obsessive. She started talking about our future, about how amazing it would be, about how she could finally see her dream coming true. For a second, I actually thought this was it. I thought we were going to ride off into the sunset together, but the universe has a funny way of showing you someone's true colors right before you make a life-changing mistake. A week before I was scheduled to fly out to Wyoming to start my new life, I wanted to see her. I wanted one last beautiful night together before the big move. We made plans. I dressed up, I cleared my schedule, and I waited. And then the text came. Something came up, I can't make it. So sorry. It was the same cold, hollow excuse I had heard a dozen times before. But this time I didn't just take her word for it. Through a mutual connection and a quick look at social media, the truth came crashing down like a tidal wave. She didn't have an emergency. She wasn't busy. She had canceled on me, the guy about to move to her dream location to go out on a date with some random guy she had just met. The changed woman was a lie. The redemption was a performance. She was still the same girl playing the same games, looking for the next best thing while keeping me on standby. She thought she could have her cake and eat it too. She thought she could treat me like a backup plan right up until the moment I handed her the keys to her dream life in the mountains. I sat there in my car, staring at the steering wheel, and I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel like crying. I felt a cold, hard clarity wash over me. I realized that some people don't want you, they just want the life you can provide. And if they can't respect you on the journey, they don't deserve to be there for the destination. I realized right then that my accidental revenge wasn't going to be a shout or a fight, it was going to be silence. I sent her one last text. No anger, no bitterness, just 6 words that would haunt her for the rest of her life. I'm gonna miss you, take care. I turned my phone off. I went cold, and that's when the real drama started. Because when a nice guy finally decides he's done, the world shifts under your feet. The silence was deafening. After I sent that final text, I didn't block her. I wanted her to see. I wanted her to feel the void where my presence used to be. I went to sleep that night feeling a strange sense of peace, the kind you only get when you finally stop fighting for a seat at a table where you aren't welcome. But when I woke up the next morning, my phone was screaming 10 notifications, 10 missed calls and panicked texts. The tone had shifted from her usual dismissive arrogance to pure, unadulterated desperation. She realized that for the first time in our entire history, I wasn't coming back. The safe guy had finally hit his limit. She tried every trick in the book, the apologies, the excuses, the "I was just confused" routine, but it was too late. The plane was already idling on the tarmac and there was only one name on the ticket. I didn't reply to a single word. I didn't need to. I packed the last of my life into boxes, loaded up my car, and began the long drive toward the horizon. As I crossed the state lines, the scenery began to change. The flat, boring landscape of my hometown started to give way to the jagged, majestic peaks of the Wyoming wilderness. The air got thinner, colder, and sharper. And as I drove deeper into the heart of the mountains near Yellowstone, a realization hit me that was more powerful than any insult I could have hurled at her. I was living her dream. Every morning, I wake up to the view she used to describe to me in those late-night calls. I see the sunrise hitting the snow-capped peaks that she and her ex-boyfriend spent years obsessing over. I'm breathing the mountain air she craved, walking the trails she mapped out in her mind, and building a career in the exact paradise she considered her one-day goal. And she's 1,000 miles away. She's still in that same town, stuck in the same cycle, chasing the same temporary thrills with guys who don't know her name. She blew every single opportunity to be by my side. She had the chance to walk into her dream life, but she was too busy looking for a better offer to realize that the best thing she ever had was right in front of her. The most intense part of this whole journey wasn't the betrayal, it was the moment I realized that my success was her ultimate punishment. I didn't have to ruin her life, she did that herself by being a person who couldn't recognize a good thing until it was gone. She has to live with the knowledge that the man she treated like an option is now living the life she'll probably never reach. I'm sitting on my porch now, looking out at the vastness of the Wyoming range. Sometimes my phone still buzzes with a random "I miss you" or a "hope you're doing well" from her. I just smile and put the phone back in my pocket. I don't feel anger anymore. I don't even feel like it's revenge. It's just the natural order of things. She played with fire and she got left out in the cold. I took the pain she gave me and used it to build a mountain, and from up here, the view is absolutely perfect. I'm moving on, I'm thriving, and for the first time in my life, I'm the main character of a story that has a happy ending. As for her, she's just a footnote in a chapter I've already closed.